Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Hockey News Central. This is a new show designed to give you all of the updates and news for the NHL. We got a really fun episode planned today, so stay tuned and stay updated. Today we will be talking about the Arizona Coyotes and their situation as far as finding a new permanent home that goes, and as well as the NHL playoff semifinals predictions and just sort of analysis of what has happened so far. Okay, so as far as the Arizona Coyotes go, we've got a lot to talk about today, including the Tempe deal that was, in my opinion, unfortunately shut down, the situation in Mullet Arena, and some solutions for them in the long run that hopefully will help them out. So with the Tempe deal, if you're unaware, kind of yesterday's news, if you will, but what happened there was there was a around $2 billion proposal to the city of Tempe, which I think would be really good for them, bring attractions to them, and get them some tourism. Because obviously, unless you're an Arizonian, don't mean to offend you, but I'm sure most of us out here have not heard of that city, um, unless it was for the Arizona Coyotes. So what happened there is it was a beautiful proposition. I think the stadium looked good. 100% will be an upgrade from the current situation that we will go into later. I just I don't think lots of people knew, either they didn't know um what was going on there, the people that voted against it, or people just don't want the Coyotes in Arizona. Is sort of the thing I'm getting. And I'm not saying that they're a failure. I definitely think that there has been some really good things and it was a good idea. But obviously I'm just gonna pull up some stats here for us really quick. This in their division they finished seventh. In their conference, they finished at a very unfortunate fourth worst. So they were 12th, which is not good. And this is not a trend that we're seeing all of the sudden. Because if you look back to last year, second to last in the league, you look at the year before that, right? So now going 3 years into the future, right? And they are still bottom 10 in the league. So they haven't made the playoffs in a while. They've been rebuilding for a while. They haven't had a star come to them in a while. For instance, Anaheim, they got Trevor Zegras, who has obviously been really great for them. But they need to build around him. We're not talking about that right now. But point being, the Tempe deal, it did not go well for them. Lots of protests about how they don't want Arizona in there because the deal, the NHL and Arizona would pay for most of it. The Coyotes would be paying for some of it, as well as the NHL. Taxpayers would not be paying much. They would be paying a little bit in remediation. So that should not have been an issue for them. I just think they genuinely did not want the Arizona Coyotes in their city, which does not give a good look for the NHL or for Arizona. The current situation in Mullet Arena, if I can, I'm going to put up some photos of it now for you to see. It's not good. It definitely was not good in the beginning. It's a college stadium that's supposed to be going for billion-dollar organizations, right? Such as Montreal Canadiens. I mean, when you compare it to MSG of New York, it's not up to standards. It's not to say anything bad about Arizona State. I mean, I'm sure they have a good college arena as far as that goes, but it's not up to standards for NHL. And that's the problem where that is that players are not being treated the way they should be just because they should be getting better better services and better like amenities, if you will. Crack myself up. Um I don't think that like there were certain times where the dressing rooms would be covered up with little curtains. They weren't even rooms. I mean, there's college football stadiums that look better. I'm sure there's high school locker rooms that look better than this. And it's an embarrassment to the league. It's an embarrassment to hockey as a sport at this point. Um, it's not up to standards. So that definitely has to be a fix. Like, that cannot be a permanent solution. They're going to be in there next year. Hopefully, they renovate the area. Whenever, hopefully, the Coyotes leave, Arizona State will be left with a very nice facility. I hope they do something about that because it's going to make people hate going to Arizona on away games. Um, so now we're going to go into some solutions that might be able to help them and what's some options that, in my opinion, they have right now. I think one that is looking very spicy for them that I think that they should look into is joining up with the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix obviously has a larger amount of people living there, so more people going to games. Obviously, it's possible. I don't know the exact number, but I lots of NHL teams, probably about a dozen, are partnered up or more, partnered up with NBA teams. So it's definitely possible for them to work out the schedules. The question is, do the Phoenix Suns, who are an NBA playoff team, do they think that it's worth it for them? There's got to be something in it for them because, for instance, like when you look at MSG with the Knicks, right? The Knicks, the Rangers, both very good franchises, right? Arizona Coyotes got not too much to show for it. So I don't think that I think that's definitely a possibility for them. Not the most exciting possibility as far as like a fan perspective goes. But I do think that there will be a lot of fans in Phoenix and lots of opportunities for them to succeed there. Another one going down on the list here is them moving to another city. I think this is a very tempting one if I'm the Arizona Coyotes. Houston, I know, has been up in the air a lot. I think Houston would love to have a hockey team. I think they would embrace that culture. And I think that that'd be a really good choice for them. I do think that that would be more exciting. I said the word exciting in there for the fans for Phoenix. That would be exciting, hopefully making a new stadium, um, new branding. Maybe the Houston Coyotes doesn't really roll off the tongue. I don't know if Houston's known for the Coyotes there. So we'll see about that. That would be very interesting. I think that would attract a lot of fans because you're still going to have the ones in Arizona, and then you're going to get more from Houston, which I think that's a really good idea. I think that they should really heavily consider that. I do not think that staying in Millet Arena is an option. Um, Obviously that's up to them at the final, but we'll see. The third one, the one I would love to see, is scrap the franchise, make them, similar to how the Dallas Stars did. They get scrapped and they go up to Quebec. The Quebec Nordiques are coming back, I hope. I think that would be perfect. Obviously, they would have so many fans come to them. They would have so much merchandise being bought. That would be such a good idea. Same with if they brought back the Hartford Whalers, right? That would be amazing. I know me personally, if the Hartford Whalers come back, I'm buying a jersey. So I think that that is definitely a possibility, and I think that they really should consider that. I think Houston is being sought after. I think they're staying. They're definitely staying in Mullet Arena for this year, which is disappointing. I really hope that Tempe deal was going to go, but unfortunately did not. And the owners and managers and GMs, they've said we're going to have to work with the NHL and figure something out. Right now, they're a failure. Not to be rude, but right now they are. They're not creating revenue. They're not winning games. They haven't made much progress as a team, kind of sitting in the bottom 16 for most of their franchise so far. And I don't think that Arizona has fully embraced it the way that they should have. And I think, clearly shown by the votes that were coming in on the Tempe deal. So I think that something has to be done. They cannot stay in mullet. I think it's going to be fun and interesting to see what exactly does happen, though. So now we're going to be talking about the semifinals predictions. This has been a very interesting playoff, and I am very interested to see how the semifinals go because I think we have a lot of very good teams with a lot of very good talent, and some teams that I personally have not been expecting to make it this far. Really quickly, I'm going to do a quick recap of the playoffs as it has gone so far. If you want to skip ahead, the timestamp will be up above to when I get into the more action of where the semifinals are right now. So let's get into that. So starting off on the East, the Bruins faced off the Panthers. Big upset. I'm sure if you're watching this podcast, you know about this. The Panthers won in Game 7. So they advanced. And then Maple Leafs and Lightning played. Maple Leafs won in 6. A very, very exciting time for Maple Leafs fans because they got to make it to the second round for the first time in a very long time. Broke the curse, but it would soon be over. Not to spoil anything, but Hurricanes played Islanders. The Canes won in 6 as well. Very strong playing from them there. Devils and Rangers. That was an exciting series. Devils won in 7. Lots of fun in that series. I enjoyed that very thoroughly. Now going over to the West, Kraken Avalanche. Kraken won Game 7. Lots of first round Game 7s. That was tons of fun. I'm excited for the Kraken. Second year in here in the NHL, and they're making it already to the second round. That is something I cannot say for a team like the Coyotes, unfortunately. Now another kind of big team matchup, Stars versus Wild. Stars taken in 6. Ottinger, their goalie, played very, very well in that one. Very impressed by his performance. Down into the Pacific, you got Golden Knights versus the Jets. Golden Knights in 5 took that very handily. Oilers versus Kings, down back in the Pacific still. The Oilers won that in Game 6. I thought that was a very good series. I'm glad the Oilers make it. I have a soft spot for them. I want McDavid to get one for his team. Going on to the second round, the Maple Leafs fun ended very quickly with them going out in 5 to the Panthers. Panthers played well there, but I would say more than that, the Leafs played poorly. Hurricanes versus Devils in the Metropolitan. You had Hurricanes in 5. Devils showing all that young, scrappy fight that they had in the beginning of the first round go absolutely away. They were trying their best, but the Hurricanes are just too talented of a team, just swept them away. Now onto the Central Division playoffs. Kraken Stars. This game went to Game 7. I watched that whole game. That was fun. I was rooting for the Stars there. I don't know why, but this playoffs, I've had a sweet spot for them, and I think that they have a very good chance of making it all the way. Down into the Pacific Conference, or Pacific Championship here, you got the Golden Knights versus the Oilers. I was hoping the Oilers would take this on. Golden Knights playing very well. They took that game in 6. Pretty handily. And so now to the semifinals. If you just tuned in, you skipped that. Thanks for staying with me if you watched through the whole thing. So now, as the final 4, if you will, stands, you got the conference final in the East, and that is the Panthers and the Hurricanes. 4 versus a 1 seed, right? So little Panthers, probably not many people were expecting them to go there to the conference finals. Maybe people are expecting them to go last year when they took home the most wins for that year. And so this is a tough one. The Panthers have been playing pretty well, but they have not faced, other than the Bruins, their second round game was a piece of cake. The Maple Leafs are just not playing well. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit here, but I feel like that they're feeling like a Gonzaga of NCAA. So obviously they beat the Bruins. That's a feat, but I feel like the Bruins, when they're a little too cocky, is maybe what happened there. I'm not gonna go too deep in that, but that's a tough one for me. Panthers, Hurricanes. I think that if the Panthers fire on all cylinders, they can take the Hurricanes. But for that to happen, they have to fire on all cylinders, and I feel like the Hurricanes are a little younger team, a little more. They're not an inexperienced team, but they just have more loosey-goosey in their limbs and might be able to maneuver a little better. With that being said, I still think I'm going to have to go with the Panthers here. They've been playing well, obviously beat Boston, but is that enough? Are they getting a little too cocky now after taking them the Leafs in 5? I think that they got to keep rolling with what this is, keep rolling with how this is going, and we'll see what happens. But I don't know, man. That's a tough one. The second one in the conference finals here. I'm going with the Stars, fellas. I don't even have to analyze it before I do. I'm confident in this one, and I'm sure it's gonna bite me in my heel after I said that. But I don't want to jinx some knock on wood here. But they've been playing really well. Their goalie's been playing well. They've taken the Wild, who were a good team, making them forget that the Wild were even in the playoffs here. Knocking them right out in the first round. They beat the Kraken, which some people might not give them credit. Kraken was a 4 seed, but so are the Panthers. So I think the Kraken played very well against the Avalanche. They were definitely a wild horse of this playoffs, but I just feel like maybe they haven't been given enough competition. But I think that they're playing very well, and I'm taking them. I am. I don't know. I told you earlier on this segment that I'm feeling strong about them. I think that they're gonna do some good things and they're gonna make it through. So that leaves us with our championship. You know what? I'm gonna save that for a later episode. We'll see what happens, and I'll just let you know. I'm feeling good about the Stars, but we'll see who makes it to the finals, and I will do a new segment about that when that happens. Thank you so much for anyone that tuned in today. I hope you had as much fun as I did, and we will come back and see how all this sorts out with what happens with the Coyotes. We'll figure out how that works out, and I'll let you know back when we get some more information on that. Semifinals, obviously, we'll know that in about a couple of days, maybe a week, and I will come back to you on that too. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.